It is February 25th, 2015. My name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla here in New Mexico, and this is your legislative update for the day. Haven't done one of these in the past couple days. I apologize. I've been under the weather, but I'm hoping to get you guys caught up today with what at least I've been doing here at the New Mexico legislative session. So on Thursday, we had an energy committee meeting. What we did was kill a bill that would label nuclear as renewable energy. I actually don't have a problem with this in concept. I think when you look at climate change and the fact that nuclear energy doesn't put carbon in the environment, if that's our biggest problem, then we need to consider that seriously. The problem with this bill is it would have allowed companies who already have nuclear energy, so El Paso Electric and PNM, to count that as renewable under what is called the Renewable Portfolio Standards, which asks them to have 20% of their power by 2020 to be renewable. And if this bill would have passed, it would have allowed them to basically not do any more wind, solar, and geothermal because they already have renewable in stock. So it just didn't really seem to make sense if our whole goal is to decrease carbon emissions. We also heard a bill about wild horses. This is a very emotional topic for a lot of people, and what they wanted to do was label some of the wild horse populations up here in northern New Mexico as wildlife so that the New Mexico Game and Fish Department could regulate them instead of livestock, where other agencies are responsible for them. And it was really tough public policy because our Game and Fish Department didn't have the expertise to take that over. But when you talk about horses, things get very emotional and very tied to how people feel about horses. So it became a rather interesting conversation. It lasted about 2.5 hours. Yesterday, Friday, our Economic Development Committee passed a bill encouraging more investment by the New Mexico Finance Authority in infrastructure in New Mexico. And it became an interesting debate about what is quote-unquote return on investment. So we have a couple of organizations which use state money to invest in things that return that money as an investment. So we put money into a fund and they invest it in out-of-state airports and out-of-state pension funds and all that kind of stuff in order to get an investment return for the state. However, there's an argument to be made that what if we invest that money where you won't get as much direct return, but if you invest it in the state, in projects like roads here or airports here, does that create a multiplier effect within state communities that provides more jobs? And that's a very interesting conversation and one I'm going to participate a lot more in. Last night on the floor in the House, we actually passed a bill combining most of the nonpartisan elections into the same day, every November of the odd year. So this is what he's talking about. Soil and water conservation districts, school boards, cities, all of those elections, there's like 10 of them during the year. And though some of the cities and school boards and soil and water conservations didn't like it, the point which I backed because I voted for it was that if you make things simpler on people, you're going to increase voter turnout and make it easier for people to participate in all of these very small but very important elections. So that moves on to the Senate. Today in our committee, we had a special Saturday session on the bill to take away the rights of people who are in union shops to pay union dues. Republicans call this right to work. A lot of people on the Democrat side call it right to work less, because the whole point is to lessen the power of unions. And there's a whole bunch of information out there that each side kind of put out. My take on that is when you look at states with these kind of laws, which do decrease the power of unions, wages do go down at a statistically significant level. And in a state like ours, where we've got issues with income inequality, that was not something I was ready to support, and it died on a party line vote today in our committee. So thanks everybody for watching this. Now that the budget is out of the House and over in the Senate, the next week or two is going to be fairly chalked up with different specific bills for things like healthcare, the environment, different law changes, that sort of thing. And I'll hopefully be able to give you some more updates as we move along on Monday and from there on out. As always, if you have questions or comments on these or any of the issues, I'd love to talk about them with you. Thanks again, and hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. Bye.